So namaste in Lakesh. Welcome to this Satsang. Namaste is a nice way to greet somebody. It means the divine in me is greeting the divine in you. And that's really what the Satsang is all about. To connect into that common denominator that unites us. Now, we can call this divine or God or anything. Supreme intelligence is a very nice description of this presence that we all share inside. So there are many ways to connect into this presence. And I like this, to greet, like the ancients used to greet each other. And the Mayan Indians, they said, when they greeted each other, they said, in Lakesh. I am another you. That's how they said hello. I mean, if you start off saying hello like that, you have a tendency to not maybe be so feisty or wanting to hurt the other, because the other is another me. You become perhaps very interested to listen, to see, what's going on. Life becomes interesting and fully alive when we are paying attention to what is happening around us as a reflection of ourselves. The beautiful thing is, if many people started to experience that, then automatically it would make a shift in the human collective consciousness. In other words, how we are thinking. Every country has their own way of thinking. Like in Sweden, we have certain belief system that it's just like we're born into these belief systems. If you are born in America or China or Russia or India, you would have different kind of sets of belief system that is just heritage. So that is interesting as we nowadays, we travel the world. Well, not now actually. We are online with each other at least. So in the past years before this situation is happening in the world where many people are not able to travel, we have traveled a lot. And so we have visited each other's cultures and different languages, and we have intermingled. And with this new technology called the internet, we can also use that to continue our friendship, our relating to each other, and to discover this collective consciousness, to see how we can contribute to each other in the way that our belief systems are. And automatically, when we start seeing things like that, we're not interested in it's kind of strange actually that you would try to hurt the other. It's like shooting yourself in the foot, you know. Why would you do that? So as I see things in pictures all the time, and I never know. I have a manuscript somewhere, but that's not how my brain really works. It's a lot of images, and that's why I like this satsang, because it's not, you don't really know exactly what's gonna be shared. There is this phenomenon called I love Sanskrit, so I use the Sanskrit word. It's called the Antaryaman. And this Antaryaman is arising from this collective consciousness that we're talking about, even though we are here, maybe gathering from different countries. We have different ways of thinking, reasoning, belief systems, but here we are together. So this internet is opening up for the inner net. And all of us together now in this satsang, it is a sharing of the collective consciousness of all of us together. So this is the magic that we just get a little taste of this short satsang. It's just a short time together like this, right? Before I used to actually travel the world with satsangs. Maybe I met some of you, and it's always sharing one's own truth, one's own experience. So it's not like a lecture where you tell somebody, all the things that you know or something. Those are good too, but that's not a satsang. And I have come to enjoy this format very much because I learn the best myself as I listen to somebody sharing from their life and their thoughts and from their own heart, from their own springing from that antaryaman. Because it's something that naturally appears whether we know about it or not. It's like a higher laws of the universe, higher laws of divine intelligence. How? If maybe you can become aware of it. It would be very interesting for you if you haven't done it already. So, if you were to see yourself like as we go deeper and deeper into the seeing of who we are, you start experiencing that we are nothing but a symphony of different tones. You know how you go to a symphony and listen, and there's so many tones and notes and instruments, and so how can you say where is the actual symphony, where is the song, where is the music? It's all of it together. So my experience of who we are is I am this symphony of different qualities that is like an chord, like a musician would play like this tone, this tone, this tone, and then it goes and it becomes all these notes together playing an accord, playing one symphony. And of course, this symphony of who we are, these different tones and notes, it can keep changing because we are evolving and growing and learning. We're going to talk about that a little later. But that's the interesting part of fine-tuning our instrument, you can say, to allow a beautiful symphony to play through us, utilizing all of these different aspects of who we are. Like stars on the sky, on the heaven. It's magical, it's alive, all the leaves in a tree. Did you stop to look at a tree? Just, there is no tree there when you really look at it. It's a whole bunch of different things all coming together, relating together, depending on each other. Like, totally one. There's no other way really to look at it. And once you start seeing that, magic opens up. Because it's enough if you see it just one somewhere. You start seeing the collective consciousness. Then you're onto something. So when sharing in a satsang, which I used to do and I enjoy so much, because the satsangs would be different going to Russia or going to India or going to Japan or going to America, to Hawaii or to Kazakhstan or Czech Republic. All of these different places, I experienced how they affected my brain, affected my beingness, and affected the symphony that is me. And the symphony in me adjusted to play with the tones of the people who are there and the environment. Sometimes I would sit in just a cold factory with 3 coats on somewhere in Russia. Or I would be in a nice fancy hotel in Geneva. Or I would be different places, different people who are sitting like this. What is she talking about? I don't understand what she's saying. And then some people like, this is fantastic. This is nice. I don't understand what she's saying, but it feels good. We're dependent on translator. And I've had my share of those funny, so many funny stories. But, so these experiences of traveling the world, sharing satsangs, and also guiding then processes how to help people in these things, what they were interested in. See, it's no use having some kind of course for something people are not interested in. So the satsang is more like, what do you like? What do you want? What is exciting in life? What do you need help with? Because we can do processes for this. So seeing this for the past, I think it was 16 years in a row, I started traveling. In the last 2 years, I've been here in Ramlösa. Ramlösa. It's a very sacred place. They have this alkaline healing water 90 meters under our feet here in the studio. And I have a meditation center, a little supreme light temple that is made for what the passion is about, what I'm going to introduce to you today. Well, you already know if you're hanging out on my online things, you probably know what I'm about to say. Something that shifted my own life, and I've come to be dependent on it. It is the connection to this supreme light. That's why I call this the Supreme Light Temple. It was initiated and blessed by Sri Amma, Sri Bhagwan in India. And as I met them, I saw here are 2 beings who are sharing this vision I've carried all my life. I've been looking for somebody who could help me, because you learn so much, you know so much. I read so many books, and I got caught up into that. I got caught up into everything I know. And I was also caught up into telling everybody what I know, anybody who would listen, and even the ones who didn't listen or didn't want to hear this. Well, I started very early with this. See, I was like 3 years old, on the trains and the buses. To my mother's great embarrassment, she's told me. But I came in with this passion. People need to know. Do you know about little stories of Jesus? In Sweden, people don't seem to know, but I was so immersed into all these stories of God-related topics, we could say. But as a child, it's a wonder and it's a magic. And for me, the birds and the nature and the rocks, it was alive. Even though being brought up in a suburb in Stockholm, and I went there now in old age, and I go, it looks different from, but I know this little rock. We have a lot in common. There is something that appears or emerges when one symphony is meeting another symphony. So in this case, there's more than 2 of us gathered here on the satsang. So this energy of you coming through is affecting what is being said. Now, this also goes for any relationship, any meeting of 2 or more souls, or even for that matter with a rock or a tree. all of nature is built like that. We can relate to the world that we live in. This is what the ancients knew about, and for them it was very natural. But we then went about to develop into the world that we have today. And it's not bad, it's good. But we need to remember who we are and what we are capable of as human beings, because it's in our design. We have a gift, and we need to awaken to this essence. And it's not like one person has this essence more than anyone else. No, it's a common denominator. It's the only thing I learned from my math class. It's the only thing I really got. The math of setting up a common denominator. I like that so much. I remember that is so nice. It's much easier to calculate then if we all have a common denominator. And then on the top of, you set up this, what do you call it? Tal in Swedish. You just have one number here, and then it's a line, and then it's a common denominator. So in my world, in my way of seeing it, it is on the line on top, we are all unique beings. We have our own symphony, but we are sharing. We are sharing a field. And each and every one of us have access to this field in our own way. This is where the freedom comes in. We are not asked to change the number on top, like who we are, the symphony. We are not to become one symphony. We're all going to sing together now. That would be not sustainable and not interesting. So we are here to develop our uniqueness of our symphony, and the tones that are, that was not really on key there. Let's just, sharpen that up a little bit. Now I got my symphony going here. And then you connect into that common denominator, our essence, the essence of who we are, that supreme intelligence that we can call the divine. It's a nice word for it. If you don't like it, some people don't like that word. It's not what you call it. You can call it God. That's even worse for some people here in this country. This is so silly. What we call something, it's personal. For one person, that means something, and for another person, that word means something else. So let it be so. Isn't that interesting? It's diversity. It's interesting in the creation. So what you call it is the only thing that is important, that you start relating it to it in your way. So if there are 7 billion people on this planet, there are 7 billion different ways to connect into this presence. So I will go very deep into that very process in an online course I will have at the end of June. And it's called Connect to the Divine. It is an online course with deep-seated processes. Since we cannot travel to each other, people have asked me, can you come before the lockdown? And I said, I am called to this place to set up this center. And now, of course, in Sweden we can actually travel. So we do have Swedes coming here, but I would love to have you come from abroad as well. So these years of traveling has given tremendous experience of that which is my belief system, and I keep growing. And as I'm growing and learning, there is this gift of sharing. So if you have a possibility to share what you have learned and grown. It's interesting for people to hear. So then you are sharing from your truth, because anything that you have experienced, you might read a book and be very inspired and oh, that's nice, but not until you have your own experience does this really take off in your life. So the online course will be about processes to go into your own life. So you'll be guided into different deeply meditative processes and different teachings that will help you. And they are only processes that coming from my own experience. So I welcome you to that. I think I forgot to share how you can sign up for it, but maybe Susan is on this satsang, she can share it. These processes that we've had across the world are very dynamic, and also when we are together, we build this field. As many of us are on this process course, something happened. So we're back to the symphony again, right? So here is a symphony that has something to share. And let's say you are just meeting a friend or a person, and you want to share your experience of something, that you have had a breakthrough in something. So you are meeting the other, and the other person is his or her own symphony, a beautiful, magical expression of her or him. I say symphony. So that meeting, when your tones are meeting the other's tones, this phenomenon happens that the two of you meeting becomes something more than 1 + 1. This is the phenomenon of knowing about the common denominator. So two beings who are meeting, who are connected into the supreme intelligence, meaning at least you have some kind of awareness that what springs from in here, what dwells in me, also dwells in the other. Like the Mayans said, I am another you in Lakesh. So if you have that basic understanding and you go deeper and deeper into that experience, you automatically start sharing things that would be of value to the other. It doesn't come from the mind or some knowledge and some plan you had what to say. It's impossible. It comes from the connectedness in your heart. And as you discover this, in at least one relationship you have like that in your life, then you start seeing that all relationships in your life is nothing but a reflection of something in you. This is where it becomes very valuable to connect into that, to anchor into that supreme light, supreme intelligence, the divine inside. Because the level of compassion that we might need in certain relationships might not fully be in our symphony up here. It's like, whoa, what do I do with this? This person is acting like this. I don't know. I don't feel much compassion. Right. But there is a part in the other and in ourselves that has that compassion, that has that tremendous love. It's a love we can't understand or speak of, because it's not a love that comes and goes, that is dependent on something. You don't love the other because of something. Love comes as a state of consciousness, of beingness, as you realize your essence is the same as the other's essence. There is no separation. This is the divine is awakening in our hearts now. And as this awakening starts happening, as we learn to connect into this presence, and more people in our world is growing into it, connecting into it. And you know what happens when you do? You relax. It's like you're having this big giant behind you going, you need some help? I got you. So who wouldn't want to be connected to this huge presence that is very personal? We're going to do some processes very soon around it, some easy processes here. But I really recommend and welcome you to a deeper process at the end of June, where you can anchor into it in a very powerful way. And we also need to learn how to meet hindrances and how to overcome them, right? So there's lots of things around this that we need to look at. But as many people start connecting and awakening into their own divine nature, not like looking at someone like, oh, that person, okay, I'm going to try to be like him or like her. No. Remember the 7 billion people? You are unique. We just share the common denominator. So we can have the East and the West, the right and the left, the male and the female, united as one. But they're still dancing in creation, right? Stillness and movement, any opposite. So going into a one consciousness or oneness consciousness does not mean that you will never experience life from a duality point, as it were. What is happening, though, is that there is a bridge in between the right and the left brain, the male and the female inside us. A connection between us as a unique individual with the essence, God within, that common denominator. This very relationship between ourselves, our own uniqueness, and the divine consciousness, that connectedness we call, it's another Sanskrit word now coming to you. Are you ready? I love Sanskrit, and I'm actually completely obsessed with it. Because they have, in the Sanskrit language, they have about 3,000 words for what we call God, divine. We don't have many more. Supreme intelligence, we can have a few more, but 3,000? That's a lot of nuances, like a diamond with many facets. So they say, yes, God is one, but God can have this quality and that quality. So their mantras is all Sanskrit. If you were to, and we're soon going to go into that, if you were to translate, you would say, oh, this mantra means pretty much God, 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 divine, 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 different aspects of divine. So, the connectedness of you as a unique individual and the supreme light, the divine, that relationship that can exist in the oneness consciousness, one, but it's also expressed as two, interrelating, and the Sanskrit word that I'm in love with is called Bhakti. Isn't that a nice word? Bhakti means devotion, to praise, to express love, to sing, to pray, to relate, dance. Expressing that love for one's own divine, because there's only one. And each and every one of us, we have our own unique way to relate to the one. Some of us are very close to the bhakti nature. Well, it's very easy. And many religions are based on that too, like Christianity, where Christ said, "Me and my Father are one," but he prayed to his Father who art in heaven. Right? He had a relationship to Father. So that is a bhakti in the Sanskrit word you can describe. So many religions, philosophies have that kind of a understanding of the one is expressed as many. So it's actually that kind of, if you can develop that, it is a shortcut. Now, when I learned meditation, I wanted to go into deep meditative states right away. I was maybe in my early 20. I think I just turned 20. And I found this meditation ashram in Los Angeles, where I lived then, called Siddha Yoga. And I loved it. And I wanted to learn about meditation, and I was initiated into meditation, to repeat the mantra and to breathe and this and that. But I want to go really deep states. I want to have some powerful inner experiences. So I went to the Swami there. Swami is a teacher. So there was a teacher there that was speaking about enlightenment and the path to enlightenment. And he said, it's very difficult because you need help. You need someone who can show the way, because it's like, and remember these words, this is so many years ago now, right? But you remember this. It's like walking on the edge of a sword. It's so easy because the mind is very tricky. You can fall off this way and that way. So that is the reason why you need a teacher that can pull you through. And that teacher can guide you in two different ways, he shared with me, or with this little group gathered. He said, one is jnana yoga. That means the yoga or the path of knowledge. Now it might take 1,000 or so years, but at least you know in the end. In the end, you'll know. I go, 1,000 years. And he says, then there's a shortcut. And I said, yes, please. And that is called Bhakti Yoga. That was the first time I heard this in the Siddha Yoga tradition. Now, I loved being in that tradition, and my favorite mantra was Om Namah Shivaya. I repeated that I was in that for about 20 years, actually. I liked it so much. So it gave so much peace and very deep-seated meditations. But I was looking for this bhakti. How do I go about it? And also, I didn't want to belong to any particular religion. I didn't really see myself as part of this or that. I just want to have my own way of looking at things. And do I have to really sit in a cave and just sit and meditate? Is there a way that I can just live my life? Because I want to have a family. I want to be in the world. I have a calling for that. And even though I was thinking, maybe a monk or something. Well, I think I've done that. I feel very close to that. I feel a challenge is calling me to keep looking. So not until I came here to Helsingborg is where I discovered this oneness consciousness. And the beautiful thing about my teachers was that there was no religion or organization or any set of rules that, okay, you have to go this, you have to do this, you have to say this, here's the manuscript, just go ahead and do this, it'll all be fine. No. It actually came in as a teaching from inside what I must do. Everything happened from inside our own experience. See, these teachings, the jnana yoga, which is the knowledge and the wisdom. See, it's like a horse and a carriage. The experience we have from life is the horse. You know, a horse is alive. It's just like, has a tremendous power and sensitivity, right? And the carriage is the wisdom or the teaching. And this has been my path. Just seem to be throwing myself out in life and having an experience like a wild horse. But I'm interested in the teachings. But it needs to come from my own experience. So the way I teach my classes or processes, it's based on that. We need to connect it into our own lives and then have the teaching connected into our own realization or insight. Only then does the magic happen in our brain. As I realized and understood as I went along in this path of oneness, that any shift in consciousness that we wish to have, it is a neurobiological shift of the brain. So in other words, it's the neurons in our brain that are just like, you know how we talked earlier? We talked about this symphony and that symphony meeting together. And that's how you heal relationships too. We'll be going over that too. But that's how the neurons are in our brain. They have their own thing and they're communicating. They're not actually, if you were to study neurons, they're just sending signals. It's pretty cool. So one neuron is just like, you know, we're having this kind of experience. Okay, I got it. And, you know, this is very simplified here. This happens very quick. But this is how we say we have a wiring of our brain. So, in other words, we have had certain experiences. This is our symphony again, right? So our brain is wired in a certain symphony. And when our brain meets another symphony, there is this common denominator, our antaryamin. A very dear friend, a client of mine, she could never remember antaryamin, so she calls it auntie yamin, like it was an auntie. And I love that so much. It doesn't matter what we call it. It means in Sanskrit the indweller, the one that dwells within. Isn't that enough? When I heard of that, that was the I heard of oneness. I said, say what? I never heard of that. Antaryamin. What is that? So the intellectual side of me, the one that I've been reading all the books, is like, I totally missed that. I can't believe this. I have to find out, what is this antaryamin? And when I heard it means the indweller, I get even more intrigued. Because here I thought I had to connect with the higher self when I'm meditating. Higher self is some part of me that is up there, high up, and it seems to be doing wonderful, whereas I'm down here just struggling in my life. You know, I've had it with this higher self. I want this, the one inside, the indweller. Where is this? How do I get in contact? What do I do? Please, somebody tell me. So I was like the horses galloping already. Or my first meeting, it was actually someone holding a satsang here in Helsingborg, February 2002. So it's a while ago, but it changed my whole life. When you have that kind of an insight experience, life takes off. So it is from this that I want to share with you. Little guided meditation processes here. And let's see. Okay. You can close your eyes and just connect into your physical body. Feel the feet touching the floor. Relax. Experience your legs. Relax. Your buttocks, your pelvic region, relax. Your back and spine, relax. Your stomach, your belly. Your chest and shoulders, relax. Your arms and hands and fingers, relax. Your neck and throat, relax. Your whole head and your face, relax. Become heavy and relaxed in the whole body. Allow the body to relax. See how the breathing is happening on its own. The body's breathing the way it wants to breathe. You don't have to change anything about your body now. Just have it still. This is a simple meditation called a Vipassana meditation. You can do this every day. It helps you to become aware what is actually going on inside. And now, as we are not going outside so much, we can spend more time to see and be interested what's happening inside. You can fine-tune your instrument, your tones and your symphony by just seeing what is there. As we are seeing and develop the capacity of non-judgment, because that happens as we connect into this supreme intelligence inside. This is one of the gifts. There's so many gifts. So it's worth it to sit in a Vipassana a little bit every day. Such tremendous gifts. And we like that. So now put a little focus inside your heart. In the heart region, it's easiest for us to connect to this supreme intelligence inside, what I call divine, a higher sacred self, or the indweller. It is inside every human being. It's the very core, the very essence of who we are. And if there are 7 billion people, you get to have your own way to connect into this presence, because you are unique. Nobody is like you. Never have been, never will be. You are completely unique. And move into that common denominator. And as you connect into that, it's like you're an astronaut out in space exploring the heavens and space. But you're connected to the space base on the Earth. So you don't get lost, and you actually get communication like, why don't you go this way? Look into that planet. Or how about going around to see on the other side? Go and see on the dark side of the moon. What's over there? Why don't you go and see? Let's say. So, is it all right? Are you with me? Yeah, I won't let you go. Let's explore what's in the shadow. So in the same way, we can explore life. Once we connect, we anchor into our heart, because here is the governor or the king, the ruler in our lives, that big protective presence that got us. He says, I got you. Go out and experience and report back to me. I want to experience through you. We're one. But please relate to me. Share with me. Share with others. This is the nature of bhakti. That you are that connected in your own way. You can develop a bhakti nature. That happens once you start getting the gifts. You start feeling really grateful. And that is a way to open the door to bhakti, to express gratitude. So whatever experience you have of that, just ask that you will have a deep connection into that presence inside you. And receive this sacred mantra to connect into your divine in your way. Om Sachitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namaha. Om Sachitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namaha. Om Sachitananda Parabrahma Purushottama Paramatma Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namaha. Shri Bhagavati Sameta Shri Bhagavate Namaha. Shri Bhagavate Namaha. And keep your eyes closed. And give gratitude. Give gratitude in your own way for that presence that dwells within you. And ask that you will always be connected to it, no matter what is happening in your daily life. And at night when you sleep, you can talk to this presence. You can have a relationship to it. You can connect with it in your own way, in a way that is close to your nature. Develop that bond. And by giving gratitude to it, you have started. Put your hands over your heart and just in your own words inside, just say thank you. You will see that presence, whatever gift is given you now, maybe a feeling of peace or a nice expanded sense of something in the heart. That connectedness, that love for no reason. As you do this every day, you will create a pathway, a neural pathway between your heart and your brain. As science today has discovered that there is neurons in our heart that is connected directly to the neurons in our brain. So actually what is happening in your heart is affecting the wiring in your brain. And the brain is connecting our picture of reality. So our very picture of reality can change and shift as we connect to this presence in our heart, in our own way. It needs to be real, not any pretend that we have learned somewhere, which could be a nice start, but you need to have your own experience. To do a vipassana every day, and to then go into the heart and be interested. And as you start connecting to that presence within, you actually also will have a relationship to that presence outside of you. You will start seeing that divine presence in nature all around you. You will feel that God is talking to you, divine is talking to you, that sacred presence is speaking directly to you. That bird, it's alive for you. That tree, it's moving in a way that it's never moved before. It never will move like that ever again. This is a sacred movement. Life becomes sacred to you. You become alive. And there's no need to use all the knowledge and naming everything in life. That has its place. We're not here to lose the mind. We are here to use the mind when it's needed. But in our heart, there is a higher intelligence than the mind. We can liken it, or we can look upon it like artificial intelligence. The mind is like that. The mind is like AI. It is something very clever and very good to solve problems. But it doesn't have the core nature, the very essence of consciousness, the very essence of the divine. So it doesn't have that self-nature. We can develop it brilliantly. But if that is ruling over our divine nature, we get lost in the realm of the mind. And in the times we live in now, we can live with the mind. We can live with all the beautiful technology that we have today. But we are unique human beings. We are fully alive. For every moment is new, is fresh. That is the gifts of being alive in a human being body. We were designed like this. It's unique. It's unparalleled to anything in this whole universe. And we are awakening to being alive so that we can enjoy this life and also enjoy all the amazing, fantastic technology that we have access to us. To start relating to each other in the name of love, not as like a trade thing, like, well, I love you if you are nice to me, or if you do this for me, I can love you. Or maybe you will love me if I am nice to you. This is not that. So, what is there inside each and every one of us? We need to discover it ourselves. It is a treasure, and we need to go hunt for it. So, the next blessing, you can keep your eyes closed. The next blessing we're going to do is something that is very useful then, to have this presence of the divine for. It is to meet challenges in life. And we know that life every day gives challenges. And when one challenge, one problem is solved, there's a new one waiting. So there's never any loss of problems in our world. There's always new challenges. So let's see, how can we use this supreme intelligence to help us in this? This is where it's very useful to live in the world and to be connected to the supreme intelligence. when you have come into the habit of doing vipassana, which I hope that you go about because it's so helpful to just sit a few minutes, then as you connect and maybe you sing a song or you speak or you just feel the presence, then you go on to, do you have a challenge in life? Is there a problem you have? Because the divine wants to help you in that. See, this is the very practical reasons why we should be connected to the divine. So now you can share. In this next blessing, you're going to get a transmission of this sacred mantra. It's an energy transmission of grace. It is coming from that presence. So it's enhancing that presence in you. It's our common denominators just connecting. During this time, you can talk about your problem to your divine, or you can just send an image like, this is the problem and I would like to have it solved. And when you send an image into your heart, you send an image of how that problem or situation would be like if it was solved. So you have, this can also be called prayer. You can call it anything. But you send in a signal or an image to your heart, to the Supreme Light, of problem solved. This is how I would like, and I need help. This, and you say thank you. So you can ask for many things during this, but take any challenge you have right now and ask for help and say thank you and see it as solved. Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om. Om Matare, Om Matare, Om Matare, Om Matare, Om Matare, Om Matare. Om Matare, Om Matare, Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om, Om Matare, 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 Om Matare. Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om, Shivaya Nama Om. Om Matare, 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 Om Matare. Shivaya Nama Om, 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 Shivaya Nama Om. Keep your eyes closed and give gratitude in your own way, whatever you are experiencing, however you relate to this grand presence inside you. It's huge. It can help you with anything, just like we can help a little ant pick up the heavy burden. Our own personal connection to the divine can do that in our own lives as we learn to relate and create a bond with that in our own way. You create that bond by starting to say thank you for being there. I want to get to know you. I want to explore this relationship. I want to see you and feel you in other people, in nature all around. In another, like the Mayans said when they greeted each other, they saw the divine in each other. I would like to have that experience. Can you give that to me? You can ask your divine this. You can ask your divine anything. Anything. Once you realize you have the gold mine inside, heavens open up for you. Magic is in your daily life, that which we call miracles. As you realize we are all one, not in an intellectual understanding, but an actual experience, and it will be given to you from your sacred platform inside, from your higher sacred self, your Antriyaman, whatever you wish to call it. It is a presence that loves you so much that we can't possibly understand it. But we can experience that love like a mother loves her child. It's unconditional. We get to experience that as a parent is loving their child. It is a gift. We get to taste it a little bit. That's why Christ said, Father, who art in heaven. Because it's that kind of a relationship. Oh, my beloved Creator, I am yours, you are mine. That is bhakti, a devotion, a love, a praising, a giving gratitude, a joy, a dance, a song, an art, a painting, just an expression of a kind word to someone is an expression of kindness to that divine. Our life is like a fairy tale. Our life is like a painting with magical things happening every day. If we allow for it, let go. And we're going to do a blessing now for the completeness of who you are. All of that you are. You are this physical body, but you're also this prana body, this energy body. Where do you get energy from? Through the energy body. When this energy leaves the body, there is only some elements of the body left. There's no life in it anymore. So your prana, your energy body, is what is flowing through the endocrine glands, the different glands in your body, connecting your life force into this physical body, giving it life. And your higher energy bodies, your consciousness, the mind also has its own body, so you can have brilliant new thoughts. And we have a wisdom body. All of this, and the bliss body where our highest supreme light is dwelling, where we can say, God, my Father, my Mother, my Divine. The highest in the universe is also the very core of my being. It's a paradox. And if you have a near-death experience, you will experience it directly. Many people have. So there's no doubt about this. It's just a matter of being interested in creating such a bond. It's so helpful. So this next blessing is a blessing for your completeness. See, nothing can ever be taken away from you because you're still complete. It's impossible. If you give something, you are whole and complete. There's a law in the universe that what you give out comes back to you, but many times over. So when we do give something, make sure that you give something that you would enjoy having back in your life. You enjoy kind words, kind actions, goodness and truth in your life. So let's give that. What you give, you get back, but many times over. So let's be cautious what thoughts, words, and action we throw out. This we can develop and fine-tune our instruments. So this is a blessing for the wholeness of who we are, to celebrate all of that you are. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. And stay with your eyes closed. Give gratitude to that presence inside who gives you completeness, who fulfills your life, who helps you overcome the hindrances in life, who gives meaning and purpose to your life, who opens up the creativity. Give gratitude in your own way. You have your own special portal into this sacred platform inside your heart. Give gratitude. And when you feel complete in your gratitude, you take a deep breath and you open your eyes in your own time. It's 9:11 here in Sweden now. For me, it's a good number. I know it doesn't mean to be a good number, maybe for many, but it happens to be in numerology, my number, and I always saw myself as a disaster. So, not really fitting into this world. And this is the gift, you understand? There is a gift in seeing the truth of what is there. maybe we are not meant to fit into the standard box of how we're supposed to be. Maybe we're just supposed to be ourselves and to be loved for who we are. You know, we receive love from the left and we give love through the right. In the dancing, you can experience this. As you learn this, that there is a give and there is a take, and that we are the dance and the movement of that giving and taking. Receiving information, insights in our left brain going, aha. And then we are sharing it. And if that is giving an experience to the one who listens, then it boomerangs back. And life becomes a magic journey of movement between stillness and movement. In Sanskrit, it's called Shiva Shakti. There's constant movement and stillness. And this mantra that started my experience of this presence inside. I threw away the books. I said, I want to experience. I put a curtain over all the bookshelves. I had collected so many books. It's about the experience. And I discovered it is, for me, it was through the mantra. The mantra was like a boat that took me ashore to that supreme light. It is sacred vibration. I call it medicine for transformation. And I have recorded several CDs for this purpose. And I'm not the best singer in the world. And hopefully that can inspire you to sing better. The most important thing is that you sing with a passion from your heart. It's the only thing that is needed. So, there's especially one CD now I'm thinking of, and it's called Bija Mantras. Bija means a seed, like a seed you plant in the soil. You don't know what's going to come up, but it carries the whole tree. So as it opens sprouts, it goes, wow, it's a whole tree. So it is with the Bija Mantras. I love Bija Mantras. So I recorded them 7 minutes each. So if you want to use like some medicine or some tools, then that is one thing that you can use. You can download it. So each, there are 7 mantras for different. Well, they all mean God, God. Somebody asked, what does it mean? Well, you don't have to know exactly. Some of them are more geared towards some aspects, but the important thing is keep singing it or listening to it for at least 7 minutes. It has an effect on our brain. Every 7 minutes there's a great brain gap that opens. So that's why I made that CD for that purpose. I think I was holding a course called Bija Mantra at the time, and I said, I'm going to record this, and then people can have it when they come home, and they can listen to it, and they can sing along, because it's really easy, and they won't feel intimidated, like there's this great singer singing this. No, because it's just me singing, right? But I carry tremendous passion for this. And if you also have that passion, and how do you get a passion? Because you have some kind of disaster in you. That's why I like being this way, you know. I've all my life been feeling sorrows, suffering, disasters, horrible things without really having nothing happening around me. It's just that kind of a life, and it was very helpful. To make that bridge into that supreme light, you can use a mantra, any mantra. And you can use prayer and relating, bhakti, devotion, express your love. But it needs to be real. It cannot be like, of course it could be some, you read, there are many beautiful psalms. I have my favorite psalms. I like all religions. All religions have something really great in them. So I'm not against anything. Only things that hurt others and the disastrous things that we've been looking at, that I've been looking at all my life. I feel a calling to help, to set this world right, to help this world. This is a calling I had. As a 3-year-old, I picked up trash from the ground. I said, you shouldn't throw this here. My mother's like, can we get a normal child? And if they gave me some candy, I would say, seriously, thank you, dear God, for the food. And my mother's like, just relax. But so you understand, from the very beginning, I've been kind of obsessed with, I got to help set this world right. It's just a calling, and I think many are like that. We have a calling. We want to help this disastrous world, set it right. So to do it, you need to have the courage to meet these hindrances, and I don't know any other way than to hang out with this huge power that we have inside, our common denominator, because when we do, we cannot even blame the people who have hurt us, who have hurt this world, because we have access to forgiveness. This is what we need to go ahead. If enough people start relating to that divine presence inside, we can shift the collective consciousness. So these kind of hurtful things will not happen in the world, because those thoughts will not be present in the collective human consciousness. This is pure science. So maybe you are one of the ones feeling a calling like me. I want to serve this greater purpose. So there is a gift in every disaster. Look for the gift. In every challenge, there's a gift. We'll go deeper into it in the process, in the online course. I see that time is running up. I would love for you to join me in that. We're going to go on really deep, like a submarine, really deep into this process. Very important for this time. So for those of you that are live on the Satsang, we will finish off with the Supreme Light Meditation. So just hang in there. And we'll also save this as a recording. So I want to thank you for joining in this Satsang, and I hope to see you all again. Namaste.